And as you mentioned, one of the big challenges is the funding, right?
Yes,
So,
funding.
what is Malaysia's investment attraction strategy for green transition?
Well, in terms of funding, we came out with a green investment strategy because we want to show that when you move towards the green economy, it doesn't mean that you will affect jobs. You are, in fact, creating jobs. For Malaysia, for our green investment strategy, we expect 300,000 jobs to be created with the investment that's coming in this sector. Where is the money coming from? There will be many sources of funding that we are looking at. Of course, government has to play a role, given the risk appetite of many companies today. But we feel that as technology advances, the cost becomes a bit more manageable. There will be more private sector funding as well coming in. Banks are also looking at this, of course, through the capital markets mainly. But what we are seeing today, in Malaysia anyway, without both government and private sector partnering in moving towards this green transition, it's going to be difficult. So for Malaysia, some sectors are already quite advanced, where there's no requirement of government funding, which is solar. We have the large solar scale tender that has happened over the years. In fact, we just concluded the 5th LSS large solar scale tender completed. Every tender is about 2,000 megawatts. There was no government involvement at all. As you know, the cost of solar has gone down considerably, and we're doing our first tender for battery. And at the same time, what we've done is we understand that we also need to liberalize the energy sector, especially the power sector. So for Malaysia, if you look at our transmission line, we are now allowing power generating companies to participate by paying a fee to use the transmission line. Which basically you have this, what we call it, CRESS. We call it CRESS, where renewable energy can tap onto the transmission line and they pay a third-party access fee to be on board. And it can be, mainly can be B2B. So let's say you have a data center, you open a data center, you can find someone who produces the green energy, then you pay a third-party power access. At the same time, you have a B2B agreement with the power generation company to supply. And in fact, I just witnessed, just before I left for the US, the first power company that supplies solar or renewable energy, in this case, to a data center and using the transmission line. So it's a B2B agreement. Of course, people sometimes say it's costlier, but for green energy, there is still some premium to factor in for now. And finally, in terms of cost, we are also looking at many companies that are coming from abroad to invest in this sector. And Japan has been quite an important player in this. And we have investments coming from countries like Japan to co-invest in some of these projects. And we have also opened the sector to other power companies globally to also participate, especially when it comes to renewable energy. And for Malaysia, it's not just green, we look at clean as well. So recently, the cabinet has announced that we are also open and getting feedback from the published, and we'll be discussing in Parliament, of course, on the possibility of looking at nuclear energy as well, to meet that net zero target by the year 2050.
Yeah.